I, female 38, am the primary breadwinner for my household. My husband, 42, is semi-retired due to an injury at work. He's a great husband and has taken over all the housework that needs to be done during the day. We share all the duties when I'm not working. Recently, his sister, her husband, and their 2 teen kids lost their home. We have a rental suite in our basement that we just use as a family area, so we agreed to let them live there. Because I'm paranoid, I had them sign a lease. A few days ago, my husband had an opportunity to do some consulting at his old work. He loves doing it because it gets him out of the house and he gets to see his old co-workers and friends. It was short notice, so we hadn't arranged babysitting. We asked his sister to watch our youngest for the day so he could go to work, and she agreed. She then delegated the task to her teen son. Then she had her nap. The kid didn't want to disturb his mum during her nap, so he banged on my door while I was working to change a diaper. Fair enough, if I were a teen boy, I might not feel comfortable changing a baby girl. I asked where his mum was, and he said she was napping. I woke her up and told her that she'd agreed to watch her niece and to do so. I waited for my husband to get home and we discussed his family. We decided together that they needed to start paying the amount on the lease, leave, or start helping around the house. We took all the kids over to my mother-in-law's house, then we sat them down and talked. We gave them their options. They said I was an idiot for tricking them into signing a lease agreement and not collecting it so I could evict them. I said that wasn't the only choice. I said that she was the one who chose to lay responsibility on a child. I said that I was basically the one supporting her, and if she couldn't help, then she had to give me money or leave. Edit, neither she nor her husband has a job right now. They're buying groceries with his unemployment benefits. I set up the lease because of horror stories I've heard about people claiming to be tenants. Not the idiot, you aren't threatening, you have healthy rules and boundaries. You're giving them a reasonable choice. Pay rent, contribute another way, or have a different living situation. There's nothing wrong with that. And good for you for setting up that lease, that was a brilliant move. They said I was an idiot for tricking them into signing a lease agreement and then not collecting it so I could evict them. So they expected to live there for free indefinitely without you ever having the possibility of evicting them? That's ridiculous. However, is a lease that you don't collect the best option? Wouldn't you still have to pay tax on this income even if you don't collect it? Unless the sister-in-law has health issues, physical or mental, having a nap when you're babysitting is wrong and weird. As an unemployed person who fought insomnia for years, there are plenty of reasons to need a nap. Unfortunately, even someone perfectly healthy can have a terrible night's sleep. The problem isn't that she had a nap, it's that she did it while she was supposed to be babysitting. I also get the feeling the young teen didn't want to wake his mum because he knew she would yell at him. Why wasn't the teen in school? Was the brother-in-law napping with sister-in-law? I would give the in-laws 30 days notice and be done. Delegating responsibility one time shouldn't be the last straw here. I feel this wasn't an isolated incident. Good for you for having them sign a lease. You're the only one working, they're not paying rent. One day to help you that they agreed to is not too much to ask. So I have hearing damage in one ear and I sometimes have trouble hearing stuff the first time, depending on if they're on the side with my bad ear. I also started a new job recently and went out for the first time with several co-workers. After a few drinks, this guy I didn't know came up to me at the bar, which was pretty loud and crowded, and said something to me that I only half caught. But I could tell the vibe of it was that someone had a problem with me being gay and he'd suggest I don't go saying that I'm gay around work. I figured he was doing me a solid. I'm a lesbian in a state that's not too friendly to that, and often at a new job, someone will pull me aside and warn me who the bigots are at the office. I always appreciate it because, honestly, that whisper network has saved me a few times. But I didn't really hear the name he said, so I went, "Who?" He seemed surprised like the guy was someone I should obviously know, and I was like, "Who did you say?" And he said a name I still didn't catch. I was feeling kind of embarrassed. I honestly am sort of insecure about my hearing, so I didn't want to ask him to repeat himself a fourth time. So I was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry but I'm blanking on the name. Could you point him out?" I was still assuming he meant some co-worker at the bar. He was going like, "What the heck? No, I can't," and acting mad. I didn't know this guy, and I started to get a little frustrated and said, "Dude, seriously? You're trying to tell me to look out for someone and you can't even tell me which guy you're warning me about?" At that point, he raised his voice at me and yelled that it was Jesus. I realized then, he's not trying to warn me of some bigoted idiot at work. He was that idiot. This is where I might really be an idiot. It had finally clicked for me. It took me long enough, I know, but at that point I was starting to find making this guy angry kind of funny. So I just went, "Dude, no need to cuss me out for asking." He said he wasn't cussing me out. I asked, "So seriously, who is it? Because honestly, you're freaking me out, man." And asked several times while he got increasingly frustrated and said, "Jesus," to which I went, "Language, man. I'm not talking to you if you keep cussing me out." He got mad and stormed off, and I returned to the table with my co-workers. A few of my colleagues asked me what was up. It looked like something I said upset him. I was like, "I don't know, it was so weird." He was talking about how I should hide that I'm gay at work because he knew some guy here would have a problem with it. But he wouldn't tell me what guy, and I hate to say this, but I'm starting to think there isn't another guy. My co-workers said I should still tell HR, and I was like, maybe, I definitely will if he says anything again. I do feel a little conflicted about that though, since past a certain point I was just poking the bear. Am I the idiot for pretending not to know Jesus? Not the idiot. I think your response was appropriate and hilarious. I love how you pretended to be offended by his taking the Lord's name in vain every time he says Jesus. I think I'll steal that. Even though it was unintentional at the beginning, it was a hilarious and fantastic way to handle him. Yes, go to HR. They probably won't be able to do anything because it was off-work property and hours, but you will have it on record. Also, document every time he does or says something inappropriate. Never be alone with him whenever possible. I, 27 female, am getting married in a few months to my fiancé, 28 male. We've been planning our dream wedding for over a year and everything is finally falling into place. However, one issue has been causing quite a bit of controversy in our family. My nephew, 18, James, has a service dog, Max, for his anxiety and panic attacks. Max is a well-trained and well-behaved dog, and he's been a great help to James over the years. However, I am severely allergic to dogs, so I could have a severe reaction if I'm around them for an extended period. This is something my family is well aware of. When we sent out the invitations to our wedding, we made it clear that there would be a strict no pets policy due to my allergies. However, James and his parents approached us and asked if Max could be an exception, as he is a service dog and not just a pet. They assured us that Max would be on his best behaviour and wouldn't cause any problems. As much as I understand the importance of Max to James, I had to say no. My wedding is supposed to be one of the happiest days of my life, and I do not want to risk having a severe allergic reaction during the ceremony or reception. I explained this to James and his parents and offered to help find alternative accommodations for Max during the wedding. However, my decision has caused a lot of controversy in the family. Some of my relatives believe that I'm being selfish and inconsiderate, while others understand my point of view and support my decision. James is understandably upset and I feel terrible about the situation. So, am I the idiot for not allowing my nephew to bring his service dog to my wedding? They want him to be an exception to your allergies. Just like, ask your allergies to take the day off? Do they expect the bride to stay at home while the nephew attends? I'm sorry, your family thinks it's selfish not to want to suffer an allergic reaction on your wedding day. This isn't about the dog behaving properly, this is about your health. Sorry, nephew, but in a showdown between your attendance and the bride being able to breathe at her own wedding, the bride wins. They expect the nephew and dog to wave to the bride as she gets married in an ambulance. You are not the idiot and reply to family, so you're asking me, the bride, to miss my wedding? Any answer they give, you are saying I'm not important, that a guest is more important than me on my wedding day, over and over. What jerks, the kid can stay at home. It sucks, but criminy, you're allergic. Agree, allergies are no joke, and on your wedding this is a no-brainer. You offered to work with them to find alternative accommodations. If they won't work with you, that's on them. If a person has severe anxiety about needing a service animal, they may want to stay home anyway. It's not like he's a child, he's 18 years old. By the way, congratulations. I hope you have a wonderful wedding and marriage. I, 35 female, am an introvert and have severe anxiety. Being the centre of attention is my biggest nightmare. I would be fine living alone in the woods as a hermit. Because of that, I hate going out for my birthday. I'll either spend it alone or at home with close friends where I'm more comfortable. I have some friends and family who always want me to go out for my birthday with them, and sometimes I go. Unfortunately, even though I begged them not to, Every once in a while, someone will think it's funny to tell the staff it's my birthday and have them do the whole dessert and sing happy birthday, and I literally go into a full-on panic attack. They think it's hilarious. I've even had them pull out cameras and record while they laugh. A week ago, my grandma died. The family pushed and wanted to do a birthday dinner, said it would be good to get out of the house. Some close friends also went. Well, we're finishing up dinner and I hear the sound that literally fills me with anger and rage. It was the sounds of the line of waitstaff clapping as they were all walking towards us with a dessert with candles, and they started their restaurant's signature, loud, obnoxious birthday song. My brother and his wife started laughing. With the waitstaff mid-song and about 5 feet from our table, I got up, walked out the restaurant, got in my car and went home. My mom says she was mortified and said I was the major idiot and that it wasn't only rude to everyone who came to my birthday, but also to the staff, and that she had to apologize profusely and leave an extra tip. Am I the idiot? Edit, in the past, they've recorded it on their phones and shared it on their personal social media pages, and other family members, even in other countries, found it funny. I also would be okay with singing for someone else. It's the making a whole spectacle of me that's the problem. Not the idiot. You know, I'll tell my kids, it's only funny if it's funny for everyone. Being the eternal butt of their one-note joke is too much. It's not funny. It was never funny. Don't do your birthday with them again. I'm pretty sure that even seeing you this upset won't change their behaviour. My ex-husband tried to embarrass me like this once, and thank God the waiter at the restaurant informed him they don't do that sort of thing. It was a very upscale place, like tap water wasn't even a drink option. I think the waiter knew my ex was a bully to me at that point because my ex wanted all our friends to sing to me and I was near tears. He told him it would disturb the other patrons and made him chill out. The waiter had the kitchen folks write happy birthday on my dessert plate, and the waiter gave me a flower, so I was really flattered he put that much effort in. I was so embarrassed my ex didn't want to tip the guy. My friends all gave extra, but I was still mortified. Congratulations on losing the weight of that idiot. OP, definitely not the idiot here. Do they not even consider how mortified you felt and how rude it was to you, the guest of honour? It's completely ridiculous that they cannot respect you, your wishes, and your very valid need to avoid being the centre of attention. If this were me, I would avoid having another birthday dinner with them. Yesterday, when I, 24 female, went for a morning jog in the park, I saw a couple walking one of the most adorable puppies I've ever seen. The puppy locked eyes with me, and that was it. Wagging her tail, tongue out, smiling, trying to pull the husband in my direction. I paused my jog and ran over to ask if I could say hello, and they said, of course, the puppy wouldn't have allowed me not to, LOL. I love dogs, so I was in heaven. I spent several minutes on the ground with her, getting all kinds of love and affection and asking her owners her name, how old, etc. She also happened to be the same breed as the dog I grew up with, who passed away a few weeks ago, a golden retriever who was my best friend, so this was incredibly comforting for me. A few minutes into talking, to clarify about 2 minutes, and I was probably with them for about 4 total, 2 with the dog, 2 with the wife being mad, and the husband getting her to leave, I noticed the wife starting to look irritated. At first, I figured I might have overstayed my welcome, so I decided to back off. I got up and said something like, I'll let you get back to your walk now, but thank you so much, that was the highlight of my day. As the husband said goodbye to me, the wife interrupted him and said, Really? I was pretty confused, so I asked her if something was wrong. The couple also had a baby, a little girl sleeping in a stroller. I'm bad with ages, but if I had to guess, she was probably around a month-ish old. The wife said I was beyond rude for spending all this time cooing over the damn dog but not saying anything about her newborn. I have absolutely nothing against babies or children, including this woman's daughter. I see them as other human beings just like me, but I won't lie, babies and kids have never elicited the same instant warm feelings that dogs and all animals do for me. This is to say, I've never really been the type to coo at babies. I don't hate or dislike them at all, I just regard them in the same way I regard all strangers, regardless of age. Before I could get a word in, the husband began ushering her away and told me to have a good day, though I could still hear her muttering about me under her breath as they left. I didn't mean to be rude, but I'm wondering if I was. Am I the idiot? Obviously not the idiot. There's a reason the husband ushered her away. Before departing, I have to say hi to the pet owner, so I'm not completely disregarding them. You fawn over dogs. Some people fawn over babies. Some people fawn over both, and some over neither. Nothing wrong with any of it, but some people look for things to be offended over. She should have said, "Oh, I'm sorry, can I pet your newborn too? What breed is it? Pure breed or a mix? Is it a rescue? LMAOOO. I hope you're carrying poop bags for her." Yeah, this probably isn't about hormones or baby cuteness. It sounds like OP just stumbled into a fight between a married couple and caught a stray bullet. Like a puppy and a 1-month-old baby. I can easily see the husband begging for a puppy and causing a lot of strife.